There are roughly 200 billion trillion stars in the observable universe. That's a 2 followed by 23 zeros. Around many of those stars, there are planets. Billions and billions of planets. The universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Earth is only 4.5 billion. That means the universe had over 9 billion years of head start before our planet even existed. So, here's the question that keeps scientists up at night. Where is everybody? This question has a name. It's called the Fermi paradox. And the most terrifying possible answer to it is something called the Great Filter. And if you've never heard of the Great Filter before, buckle up. Because it might just change how you feel about the search for alien life. The Fermi paradox is named after physicist Enrico Fermi. The story goes that in 1950, Fermi was having lunch with some colleagues at Los Alamos. They were casually chatting about aliens and UFOs, as physicists apparently do over lunch, when Fermi suddenly asked a simple question: where is everybody? Our Milky Way galaxy alone contains somewhere between 100 to 400 billion stars. Studies suggest that roughly 20% of those stars have an Earth-like planet in their habitable zone. That gives us somewhere around 20 to 80 billion potentially habitable planets in just our galaxy. Even if intelligent life is extremely rare, like absurdly rare, the sheer number of opportunities means that statistically, we shouldn't be alone. Even at relatively slow speeds, say 10% the speed of light, a civilization could colonize the entire Milky Way galaxy in about 10 million years. Which sounds like a lot, but compared to the age of the galaxy, it's nothing. It's a blink. So the galaxy should be teeming with intelligent life. We should see evidence everywhere, like radio signals, megastructures, spacecraft, something. But we don't. The sky is silent. And that silence has a name. It's called the Great Silence. Now, there are a bunch of possible explanations for why we haven't found aliens yet. Maybe intelligent life is just incredibly rare. Maybe the conditions needed for life to evolve are so specific that Earth is genuinely one in a trillion. Maybe alien civilizations exist, but they're too far away. The universe is enormous. Maybe they're hiding. There's actually a hypothesis called the dark forest theory. The idea that the universe is like a dark forest full of hunters and every civilization stays quiet because making noise could attract something dangerous. Or maybe they're already here and we just can't detect them. These are all interesting ideas. But there's one explanation that's more unsettling than all of them. The Great Filter. The Great Filter is a concept proposed by economist Robin Hanson in 1996. Somewhere between dead matter, basic rocks and chemicals, and an advanced civilization capable of colonizing the galaxy, there is a step that is almost impossible to pass. Think of it like this. Imagine the journey from lifeless planet to galaxy-spanning civilization as a staircase. Each step represents a major milestone. The formation of simple life, the development of complex cells, the evolution of multicellular organisms, the emergence of intelligence, the invention of technology, and eventually interstellar expansion. The Great Filter says that at least one of those steps is essentially a wall. Almost nobody gets past it. Now, here's the part that matters. The critical question is this: where is the filter? Is it behind us, or is it ahead of us? If the Great Filter is behind us, that means we've already passed it. The impossible step is something that happened in our past, and we made it through. This would actually be great news. It would mean that we're special. So, what could the filter be? It could be the origin of life itself. We still don't fully understand how non-living chemistry turned into living biology on early Earth. It could be the jump from prokaryotic cells, simple cells without a nucleus, to eukaryotic cells, complex cells with a nucleus. This step took about 1.5 to 2 billion years on Earth. Maybe this step is the bottleneck, the thing that almost never happens. If the filter is behind us, we should feel relieved. Lucky even. But there's another possibility, and this one is much worse. If the Great Filter is ahead of us, that means we haven't reached it yet. The impossible step is something in our future. And almost every civilization that reaches our stage eventually hits this wall and doesn't survive. This would mean that we're not special. Getting to where we are is the easy part. So, what could a future filter look like? Nuclear war, climate catastrophe, artificial intelligence gone wrong, a biological pandemic, natural or engineered. Maybe civilizations just inevitably destroy themselves once they become technologically advanced enough. If the filter is ahead of us, it means we're walking toward a cliff, and every civilization before us has walked off the edge. Okay, now here's the part that really bakes people's noodles. You'd think that finding alien life would be exciting, but what if instead we found something much simpler? What if we found alien bacteria on Mars? Most people would celebrate. Life beyond Earth. Amazing. But here's why that would actually be terrifying. If simple life is common, if it pops up easily on multiple planets, then the origin of life is not the great filter, which means the filter must be somewhere else, somewhere further along the staircase. The more common simple life turns out to be, the more likely it is that the great filter is something we haven't reached yet. So, paradoxically, finding a fossil of a microbe on Mars would be one of the most terrifying discoveries in human history. An empty Mars, on the other hand? That's actually reassuring. It would suggest that life itself is incredibly rare, meaning the filter might be behind us. So, if you ever see a headline that says, NASA discovers life on Mars, maybe don't celebrate right away. The Fermi paradox doesn't have a confirmed answer. Nobody knows for sure where the great filter is, or even if there's just one filter. There could be multiple. What we do know is this. We're here. We made it this far. Whether we got here through incredible luck or cosmic inevitability, we're one of the only, maybe the only of civilizations in this galaxy looking up at the stars and asking questions. And maybe the most important thing isn't where the filter is. Maybe it's what we do with the knowledge that it might exist. 200 billion trillion stars, trillions of planets, billions of years, and as far as we can tell, silence. Either we're the first ones to make it this far, or we're the next ones who won't. Sleep tight. If you found this interesting, drop a comment and let me know what topic you want me to explain next. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.